welcome to Deadwood Tobacco Company Blow and Smoke Podcast. I am your host, Candy Randy. I'm going to keep that nickname until someone comes up with something better. A little bit later on, we're going to be visiting with Ryan Chrys of Ryan Chrys and the Rough Cuts. They'll be playing with us for Wild Bill Days. We're going to have the entire team here. That means we're going to have wonderful representatives from Crux Cigars. We're going to have Shiner Maxwell. Michael Maxwell from Shiner Beer will be here with all kinds of great new seasonal options. We will also have Shorty Rossi will be in town, and Aries will be here talking about Shorty's Rescue, talking about Shorty's shortest charity ride, which we're going to do during the rally. We'll also have some pipes to talk about and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. And we're going to go country for that weekend. Now, don't get concerned. It's not going to be like country. It's going to be good country. And we'll talk with Ryan Chrys about that in just a little bit. But first, full disclosure, we tried this like a month ago, and there were technical issues.
Yes.
And so we have had it on the shelf, and it's been on the list to get back to. We are going to introduce you to, if you've been to the shop in the last 4 months, you already know this young man. He has many nicknames, among them Bacon. That's one nickname. The Kid, which seems to be the one that's sticking. My personal favorite, Baby Ruth, which I think is probably the best of them. Everybody put your hands together. It is Jake and Ruth.
Hello.
Yeah.
I just want to go on record. I'm very excited for Wild Bill Days. Sorry, Ryan Chrys, but it's purely for Aries. I can't wait to see him again. When you mentioned that Shorty Rossi was coming around, I was just shaking in my seat with excitement because I love that dog so much. He's so sweet.
If you don't know, Aries is one of Shorty's rescues, that the one that travels with him the most. Very pig-like pit bull. Sweetest dog you've ever seen. Yeah, it's an incredible dog. But he'll be here as well. So, Jachin, welcome. And as we talked about last time that you didn't get to hear, Jachin is not the newest employee of Deadwood Tobacco. That would be me. He beat me by about a week and a half. So what's it like to have seniority over your old boss?
Oh, it feels great. I'm going through power trips constantly. I don't try to let you live it down with the customers ever. If it's someone we know, I'm like, oh, yeah, by the way, I got hired before Randy, so technically I'm higher on the totem pole.
Yes, indeed. And he's been doing a wonderful job, having fun. And if you visited with him in the store, you know he's a sponge. And when we got hired about the same time, him first, obviously, there was this thing I told Bill. I was like, hey, Wild Bill, like he's giving us all this information, all the wrapper, filler, binder, and all these cigars and stuff. And I'm like, he's like 22. I'm way more than twice that. He's going to learn everything so quick, and he's going to make me look like an idiot. And so far, so true. So true. It is. You're like a little encyclopedia, right? So you how did you learn so quickly not all of them, because of course there's thousands of sticks in there, but what was the process when you started here? Because Bill demands that we know the product we're selling. How'd you get it so quick?
This is going to sound awful.
Go ahead.
I studied. It was just kind of easy to break it down into things that I liked and I didn't like, and to figure out why I liked and didn't like that. Pair that with just, if I'm interested in a topic, I retain it really well. Sure. Kind of I would say a genetic fault of my old man and his old man before him.
I like it. It's going to be even funnier in a little bit.
Yep. My grandpa had a photographic memory. I don't quite have that. I have more of a photogenic memory. It looks really great in pictures.
And he brings jokes, too.
I'm funny now and then.
Very, very nice. And I forgot, we were supposed to start this with something. We'll start this actually introducing our other guest, who just happened to be in the building today because Wild Bill is cooking chicken at home. I'm not making that up.
It looks delicious, actually.
And Stash is mowing his yard. And I can't believe he would rather mow his yard than come drink and smoke and do a podcast.
Right. I do want to establish the lawn does not look as delicious as the chicken. Just going to go on record. Thank you.
Fair enough. So we're going to start with introducing our other guest, surprise guest, who has been on this podcast before, talking about a number of the wonderful things that happen here in historic Deadwood. Everybody put your hands together for Dave Ruth.
How's it going, everybody?
Doing well. Thanks for jumping on last minute. And what we normally start the podcast with, and I forgot to do it, so we'll start with you. What are you smoking?
Right now, I have a Toro size Crux Bull and Bear.
And what can you tell us about that stick?
It's one of my go-to sticks. Nice, smooth, medium-bodied. It's something that you can enjoy as your first smoke of the day with coffee in the morning, or you can have it to wind your day down at the end of the night.
Very good. And Ethan, if you remember, what are you smoking?
Yeah, that's always a chore for me. I've got one of my father's, the JJ series, which I find is a delicious medium-bodied cigar.
Very good. And I am also having the Crux Bull and Bear because Dave asked me to pick something that he would like, and I was like, you know what? I would like one of those too. So we're going to go with that, which leads us to the kid. What are you smoking?
So I'm smoking my pipe, which is a Rossi Noddle. But what I'm smoking out of it is some delicious tobacco-flavored 1Q.
And what is 1Q for people that don't understand?
It's just a nice... It's a tobacco blend. So it's just a nice, straightforward tobacco-flavored. None of that kind of, oh, this is chocolate, this is peaches and cream. It's just straightforward, smooth tobacco.
None of that crap.
None of that crap.
Now, we wouldn't sell any crap anyway. But 1Q we actually use in a lot of our blends, our house blends.
Yep, Peter's and Joe's Evening Campfire. 1Q is great for blending because it really lets other flavors shine brighter and allows for kind of just this tame undernote. So with Peter's, it lets that cherry really shine forward, and with Joe's, it lets that Latakia kind of make it turn into like a little campfire in your mouth.
There you go. So if you want to have a great pipe tobacco and a great pipe smoking experience when you come in, make sure you ask for Bacon or the Kid, and he'll get you all set up. I don't have the patience for it. I haven't even tried it. I haven't even bought a corncob pipe yet.
Really?
No, nothing. I haven't tried it. Like everyone pretty much in my age group, I have pipes at home from my grandpa.
Yeah.
Now, after working here and talking with the team, I know there's a lot of stuff I'd have to have taken care of before those would be good to smoke, but I think I'll try that here, down the road.
Interestingly enough, I have a pipe from my grandpa at home. It needs to be repaired, but it's this beautiful white hand holding the bowl for the stem, but there's just a hole right at the bottom. So I got to figure out if that's replaceable and if we can get that pipe back to working order.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. That'd be awesome. So now, pipes are going to be in stock and ready to go for Wild Bill Days. They always are. There's something I've noticed here at the shop that run in super big streaks. We'll go 2 weeks with selling a pipe or two, and then we'll sell 10 on a weekend. When someone comes up, Jachin, how do you try to put them into the right pipe for them?
First, I kind of figure out if they've smoked a pipe before. That's the most important thing. I always tell people it's important to jump into a corn cob rather than a super high-end one like a Rossi or like a Peterson or like a Savinelli, because with your high-end like Peterson and Savinelli, you could be dropping $160, and who's to say you like that hobby? Smoking a cigar, maybe you drop $10, $15, and you're like, oh, that cigar's not for me. Maybe cigar smoking's not for me. Dropping $150, not including your pipe tobacco, not including anything else, kind of puts you out. So sticking to that $10 range. Then from that point, it's all about feel. It's all about what you enjoy. I enjoy a curved stem. I've met a handful of people who enjoy their straight stems, and I've met a fair few people who are really interested in those church wardens, which, if you've seen Lord of the Rings, if you haven't, what are you doing with your life? Go watch Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. But it's just the length of Gandalf's pipe. That's your church warden, which takes a lot more breath control, but that interests people because they want to look like Gandalf the Grey.
Very nice, which leads nicely to something else that we were going to talk about. Jachin, how old are you? 23
now. I was 22 when the first episode was recorded, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. So since cigars in general, and Ethan has done a great job highlighting this on our social media and other platforms, it's typically thought of, I believe, as like a crusty old dude thing.
Oh, yeah, crusty old dudes. They're the backbone of our economy with cigars. But there is room and an environment. We get plenty of young people to come through. A lot of young cowboys who are interested in emulating their crusty old grandpas.
Smoking some Kentucky cheroots and...
Yep, trying to be Clint Eastwood. I think I should bring a poncho around, by the way, and a cowboy hat next time our cheroots are in.
That sounds... We'll sell out in a hurry if you do that.
Yeah, once the shoots come in, I'll get that planned out with you, Ethan. We'll get some
If we
photos
could
taken.
get like a whole Dirty Harry thing, maybe a logoized, drinking garb or something like that on you.
I think that would be a lot of fun, actually.
Perfect.
But there is the room for young people to get into the industry. I think it is a little bit daunting because it is thought of as kind of an older thing, but it's such a great industry to be in. And I'm not just saying that because I get paid to say it.
Bill's not here. You don't have to kiss ass right now.
No, yeah. Oh, I'm not. It's I've had plenty of talks with people who are older than me who've been around smoking for a while, and cigar smoking especially. And this is going to sound crazy, but the way to think about it is it's like golf. Which is to say, when you do it, you make connections you wouldn't make before. If you're golfing while working like an office job, you're going to probably make a connection with the boss who also golfs, and that's going to give you a leg up. You smoke cigars, suddenly you're sitting and talking with people you wouldn't talk to normally. You could be Joe Schmo and end up just chatting with some guy who, I don't know, would be the mayor of Deadwood. That'd be crazy, right? If you were in a cigar bar and that happened.
That would be weird if you're just
That'd
sitting
be
there and
strange.
then all of a sudden, people come in and they go, "Hi, Mr. Mayor," and you're like, "That guy?" pretty much.
You're like, oh, and I've just been sitting here chatting with him. Okay.
It's more like they see the picture on the wall and they're like, "Who's that handsome guy?" Oh wait, that looks like you.
Yes. For the uninitiated, Dave, Ruth, is Jachin's father and also the mayor of Deadwood. So we appreciate you spending some time here at Deadwood Tobacco and providing a wonderful team member. When he was thinking about looking at something to do work-wise, did you encourage him to come down here, or what was your involvement?
Well, absolutely, I encourage him because I enjoy cigars. It's a hobby for me. Really enjoy, having a cigar every day. And when he was being a little idle and thought, I should do something else, what do I want to do? And it's like, knowing the type of personality that he has, he's very outgoing. People love him. The ladies love him, which is crazy.
Especially over about 45.
Right, exactly.
My demographic's crazy, guys.
But I also knew that he was someone who really, not to sound negative, but obsesses over things. So as you asked him about his pipe and you asked him about 1Q, you can hear that, he, when he wants and he's passionate about it and he wants to learn about it, he's all in. He jumps in. Usually around our house, all growing up, he would say, "Fun fact." And that fun fact would come with some obscure thing that he had learned. When he was a kid, he obsessed about presidents. You could say a number and he could tell you which president that was, what party they were, what was important to the party at the time.
Wow.
And then it moved on to other things, other passions that he's had. But you can really see that, and it's really been fun for me to watch him grow and learn, because the first time he was here, of course, he was hired, and one of the stipulations here at the shop was you get a cigar for your shift. And Bill said, "But you have to smoke it here. You can't take it home." And that was, quite honestly, one of the underlying things for me as, reasons why I was kind of pushing him this way, because I thought,
Sure.
Hey, I could, get, if he works 5 days a week, I'm figuring out the math, So it was really good because he still lives in my basement. So, he would have to use my humidor to keep him at home. And who's to say if he noticed one was gone here or there?
Absolutely, especially since when you start here, one of the things is you're not never, but it's going to take you a long time until you smoke one of every brand in our humidor. And so the Wild Bill encourages us to learn the product, and by doing so, you have to smoke it. So
yeah, and to watch him smoke his first cigar here at work, I enjoyed it personally because it was a little bit comical. And then now he, as you can see, as he draws on this pipe that he has, it's, he's all suave. And,
Yep.
I always say when you guys do this podcast, you always want to say, smash that button. And I think there should be a little window that pops up, him in a smoking jacket out in the middle of nowhere and saying, "Yeah, I'd smash that," with his pipe in his mouth,
Absolutely.
because it plays and it works, But he's been a good addition. He's always jumping up and helping, even when we're here on our day off,
Yep.
or his day off. he's not shy of jumping in there and helping people out. So
Absolutely. And it's refreshing to have someone who's much younger, whose view of the world is much different just based on age, and can relate to everybody who comes walking in. And another thing that about Jachin is that on Mondays, typically, I know it got canceled the other day, but you have a standing event. What do you do every Monday?
I play D&D with my friends online.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you're in such a culture that can be perceived as snobby and old people. It really isn't. And if you come into our shop, I think you'll get that vibe. And then another part of your life is very nerd-centric. Tell us about how that started with you and what you enjoy about that world.
Where did it start?
Did it start from your dad, maybe?
It started when I was a little baby.
He shakes his head.
Hey, Dad, sorry to throw you under the bus, but my dad did own comics growing up. So I was exposed to superhero stuff from a very young age, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was the typical ginger, nerdy kid. Wouldn't go outside for fear of sunburns, so I never got into super athletic activities. So that led me down kind of video games and comic books, and then that evolved as I went to high school and turned into speech and debate and those kind of activities where it became just molding my personality and being able to interact with one another. But I would say the first time I played D&D, I was in middle school.
Fair enough. Seems pretty normal for kids growing up.
Yeah, middle school. One of my very close friends, Josh Lehman, who you may know because he plays bass with Brandon Jones and he drums for Lucas Olson. Mm-hmm. So he's in the music industry. He's at his house, and his dad's a huge D&D nerd. So one thing led to another, and across a night, spending the night with him and a bunch of other buddies, we started just a little one-off thing, and we never concluded it. And when I think back to it, I'm kind of like, man, I wish I knew more about D&D at the time, but that's always how it begins off. I will say, I do know for a fact I'm not the only person who's into D&D in this industry. There is a rep.
Let's play.
Yeah, let's play.
Do you know?
Yeah, I think
Ethan?
I do.
I think I know too, and I don't think it's the one that you would think.
Really?
Maybe. Okay. I was thinking no, maybe it is. Hold on. I'm going to go with Sam from Ashton.
I was going to say Joe Fabian just because he fits the mold in so many ways.
I thought it was Tom.
Hector.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Bill told him about it, and Hector pulled me aside and was like, hey, I heard. And he was very excited.
He's like, I'm in. Let's talk about this.
And so we chatted a little bit about it, and he told me he had gotten some grief for being into nerdy stuff like that growing up. So it was very cool to have this bonding moment with another person in the industry who, and even he said, he's like, I'm pretty sure you and me are the only two people in the industry who play D&D, by the way.
Well, there you go. So when you can invite him to your online game, can people join? Ooh, see, there's the question. Oh,
that's the question.
That was a telling right there.
That was a very telling I will say, I could probably swing Hector in, but these are guys I've known my whole life.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I play with my older brother, and then one of his best friend from his whole life, and then one of our longtime friends who we made through a connection through one of my cousins who I talk to, even though he's from Texas, I talk to him literally every day. Just
nice.
In passing, getting online to just play video games together, even if it's kind of parallel play. We're kind of like toddlers in that way, where we don't always have to do the same thing. We just can be next to each other,
Sure.
each other, and doing our own separate thing, and
Right.
it's our enrichment time.
Nice. And then, Ethan, you sat in on the kid's interview,
Yep.
and I believe he was asked a question, something around one of the highlights of working here. Do you recall that and what his answer was?
Not offhand.
It was something about what would be one of the benefits of working at Deadwood Tobacco Company. And I believe, Jachin, what was your answer?
I gotta see my dad more.
That's right.
He's my best customer.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
We can say all this because I'm pretty confident that my wife won't be watching, but she might because he's on this episode, so don't rat me out. Because whatever juice you spill for me, about me, I've got plenty to throw.
he
So,
does.
Yeah. So-
and it impacts you far more because these people are going to come and say, hey, fun fact, I watched the podcast, and then they're going to expect you to turn some tricks or do something funny.
Exactly. It'll be, we'll treat it a little bit like pop quiz in the humidor. Tell me about this. What's the wrapper filler binder? What's country of origin? Where's the seed from?
I'm going to have to freshen up on my presidents because someone probably heard that president thing and got real excited
Yeah,
and is just so stoked to talk to me about Millard Fillmore.
One of the other things that, fun fact about Jachin is, he talks about his childhood and growing up and how he didn't like to be outside and, do, the typical ginger thing. And he plays that off pretty well. But actually, a fun fact about Jachin is that when he was a kid, he was a bit of an exhibitionist. So it was more that his parents didn't want him out in the yard because he came home from school and you could follow his trail of all of the clothes that he would strip off as he walked in. And so, a couple of times he's running around out in the yard in his chonies and, and it's like, oh, man, we better keep this kid inside because he is a ginger and he will burn, number one.
Yep.
And that might scare some of the neighbors. Works well for those going door to door trying to sell you something. They're a little leery about coming in the yard. But he's since, I think, grown out of that. So, probably won't be successful if you come in and ask him to, strip down or why is he running around with clothes on. But on the other end,
It never hurts to ask. I mean, it's worth a try,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially if you are a single woman who, let's just say, between 30 and 80 and has an interest in a young gentleman of leisure.
I do own a hoodie that says I Heart Hot Moms. I do want to go on record. They're into me, and
you're
the
not mad
feeling's
about
mutual.
it. There you go. Perfect.
I will say, it was probably, they were very concerned for the safety of passerbys growing up, because if the sun reflected off my pearly white skin, it could hit a car window and just send someone careening off the road. It's an upsetting truth.
What you can do for that is just tat yourself head to toe.
Well, that's something that his grandfather did, so that might come in time.
Perfect.
Working here, I've already got a tattoo offer from someone out of Sturgis.
Oh,
He knows Grimes.
Okay.
And was just like, here's my business card when you want to put some color on that white skin.
I bet, because if he does a lot of color work, it's going to really pop.
Yeah,
There you go.
I was looking up his stuff, and I'm like, ooh, American traditionalism. He does do a lot of color work.
But it's really like drawing on a white erase board, I mean, with him. He's almost
Pearly.
translucent.
Pearly.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That it just alabaster, ivory, whatever descriptor you want to use for it. That's pretty accurate.
You'll take it. All positive.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Ethan, do you have anything else?
I don't.
Mayor Dave?
I just think it's a shame that you guys don't talk about the first time that somebody came in and flashed what the good Lord gave him or gave her. And, quite honestly, it was upsetting to my wife to find out that he actually was seeing flesh here at work on the job. So
Allegedly, it may or may not have happened, and I got the second alleged reveal at the time. Jachin, how did this happen? What was going on? You were at the pipe counter, right?
I was at the pipe counter. I was helping her. She grabbed some cigars. I'm standing next to Wild Bill, so it's going to be a wild time.
Uh-huh.
And her husband goes to lift up her shirt. And mortified might not be the right word, but I'm a little embarrassed. I'm like, she's not lifting it up, so I feel weird about this. Hand up.
Yep.
Turn over. Which is an instant invitation to flash someone, I found out.
Yes,
So
perfect.
Bill starts egging her on, and she goes, oh, let me, bam, instantly. And I'm deer in headlights. I'm just like, just putting pipe tobacco in a bag for her, just like,
How much did
Act natural.
How much did you drop on the floor?
none, actually. I was trying to keep it together really well. I just couldn't talk.
Right.
My
Yep.
brain was shut down from communication, but my motor skills were still functioning.
And you know what? It happens. And then she was kind enough to to share that with the rest of the bar.
With and she left a tip other than that, which was great.
Very nice.
The thing about it that really deer in headlights me was I had gotten warned, right? I had gotten warned. Bill kind of egged me on and told me that if it's going to happen to him, he's going to send them my way.
Perfect.
And I was always told it was going to be something I didn't want to see.
I'm sure that might happen, and it would be irresponsible of me and us to encourage that type of behavior, but if it happens to occur...
It happens, we can't control it. But it was surprising because I wasn't that upset.
There you go. So technically, what is the nudity ordinance in a private business?
It's frowned upon by
Okay.
the city of Deadwood, just so you know.
That's what
in fact, the city of Deadwood has obscenity ordinances that actually specify where a patron or a customer can be shirtless, topless, full, nude, all of that. And it is all surrounded by in a hotel room that you've rented them. So
Very good. That's good to know.
It's good to know.
Yeah. And then right now, Ethan is running a legal disclaimer across the screen.
exactly.
All things that are mentioned here are just purely theoretical.
Of course. Absolutely.
I mean,
May or may not reflect the opinions of management. So
All right, guys. Well, coming up in just a little bit, we're going to visit with Ryan Chrys and the Rough Cuts. They'll be with us for Wild Bill Days. We're going to get our country on, and you're not going to want to miss this band. I've known him for about 10 years or more, had him at a number of different venues I've been involved with. It's a tremendous show, and they're some of the nicest people that you're ever going to meet. And Ethan, as always, thanks very much, Preacher, for hanging out and getting everything set up. And Bacon, Jachin, the Kid, Baby Ruth, thanks for coming back on. And funny thing is, this one was super, super smooth. Not that the first time we tried wasn't, but you've really, you got it dialed in now. And Mayor Dave, thanks for stepping in. And make sure that you give a rash of shit to both Wild Bill and Stash for bailing on the podcast. Seriously.
Well, I want to say thank you for having me, but I don't know if I should say thank you for being like your third, fourth, fifth choice.
Hey, it was third. Top three is pretty nice.
Yeah, you happen to be sitting here. Let's see if he wants to do it.
This guy's got a face for radio. Let's put him on. He'll make me look good. I know exactly what you're thinking.
100%. All right, everybody. Thanks very much. We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back with Ryan Chrys from Ryan Chrys and the Rough Cuts on the Deadwood Tobacco Company Blowin' Smoke Podcast, episode, let's call it 29. Welcome back to Blowin' Smoke, episode number, I want to say this is 28. We just had the Kid finishing up. It's always nice to talk to Bacon, Baby Ruth, as it were, talking about pipes and being a young kid working in a tobacco shop, a tobacconist, and all his quirky things that he does, like D&D and you name it. But now we're moving on to our special guest. We're very happy to have joining us from the band, Ryan Chrys and the Rough Cuts, your entertainment for Wild Bill Days here at Deadwood Tobacco Company, 8 to midnight, both Friday and Saturday. We're going to have Crux in the house. We're going to have Michael from Shiner Beer in the house. We're going to have Shorty Rossi will be here as well, and I think we might even have our pipe friend here as well. We'll find that out for real. Everybody put your hands together for Ryan Chrys. Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
Good. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Normally we cross paths maybe once or twice a year, but it seems like it's been a while.
It's been too long.
Yes. And thanks very much for picking up the phone when I called and taking some dates here to celebrate a big party weekend in Deadwood, Wild Bill Days. You been up here for that one before?
Yes, we actually played it one time. We opened for,
We're gonna
play double neck guitar with this. Why can't I think?
Junior Brown.
Junior Brown.
Yep. Yeah.
That was amazingly awesome.
I was going to say Merle Haggard, but that might have been a stretch.
Right.
Yeah.
That would have been amazingly awesome too, but yeah.
So it looks like you're joining us from the Unabomber's cabin. Where you at?
Yeah, I'm in a studio, actually. You know, there's I don't know if you can see that drum kit over there, and there's some amps over there, and some speakers up there, and Unabomber.
So you're originally from Montana, right?
Yes, I am.
Very good. So back kind of home, writing, recording, working on new projects?
Recording a new Rough Cuts album. Just doing some overdubs. And then it's back to Colorado and day after tomorrow and back on the road.
That's where I met you. You happened to be on a bill for Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. It's probably been 10 years now, I would imagine. That long ago.
Getting about there, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Which
since
is crazy.
Then, tell me about it. One thing that confirms is we are getting old. It's a perfect time for it to freeze up.
Yeah. It's unfroze now.
All right, perfect. Yeah. So we're really excited to have you come and join us here. And I know you're in the hills quite a bit. One thing that I know that you're a big supporter of, and we're also happy to be supporters of that, is the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association. So tell everybody a little bit about how you got involved in that and what your relationship is with that group here in South Dakota.
Man, it's a cool story and amazing friendship that developed. The first year we were in Rapid City, Sturgis, a couple of the guys were just randomly at the show, I think is what happened, or we're friends of friends, but one of the guys saw us and was like, would you play for our meet and greet? And this has been almost 10 years. I think it's been 8 or 9 years. And we agreed, and we've done that now every year except for 1 year. And we've also played their poker run and benefit. So it's kind of a two of their bigger events, which are super fun and super good parties, and always for great reasons for the vets. And the whole chapter 30-1 has just become our family, and they're just like amazing, wonderful friends and good people. And that has spread out to Colorado and Wyoming, where we played at the Nationals for the CVMA.
Nice.
Was unbelievable and crazy for the whole weekend. And we've just been great friends, and it's just awesome to be a part of those people because I respect them so much.
Sure. And if people are here, it's going to be July 29th in Rapid City, 4 o'clock. Is that your show time or is that the event time? Do you know?
I think it's going to be real close to our show time, so might as well come about 4.
Perfect. Sounds good. That's 29th of July, Rapid City Combat Vets Motorcycle Association. Make sure you check that out. But before then, you're going to join us in a couple of weekends whenever Ethan gets this up on YouTube and things like that. On your website, you describe yourselves and your band as modern outlaw country. But having seen your live shows at least a couple dozen times, it's a lot more than that, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And now I just call it outlaw music because it's it's country and it's rock, but it's not country rock. So
very, very, very important distinction right there. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. So it's it's gritty, old school style on all edges, but we've been a band long enough now that we have a catalog material and all kinds of material, and we can just if we want to rock, we can rock. If we want to two-step, then we two-step.
Sure. Sounds good. And I know you've had the same core with the band for a number of years. Who's going to make the trip up to South Dakota with you this time?
This will be Susan Phelan on the bass, who is a mystical legacy of biblical and unknown proportions. And when I say that, if you know her, then you know, and if you don't, then look at her and you'll understand and hear her. And then Michael Jochum on the drums. He's kind of a rock star. He's got a crazy history. He was in Jackson Browne for a lot of years, and he was in heavy metal band Korn for 6 years. And played with all kinds of people. He's been retired now. He's on the drums. He's amazing. And a brand new rough cut, Maria Colvette on vocals.
Very nice. And that's one thing that your band, I think, is really enjoyable when you go out and see you guys. You yourself handle some vocals, and you have a female handling vocals as well. Gives you a lot more opportunity for what you're going to do on stage.
Yeah, lets us cover angles that we normally wouldn't be able to, and keep the show rolling, and adds a little bit more for everybody.
And then still headquartered out of Denver?
Out of Denver, yep.
And what is your official title? Are you the mayor of Colfax? Did I get that right?
Well, I've been called the mayor or the king. Not self-anointed, but started coming around for various reasons.
And so you said you're up in Montana working on new material. Tell us a little bit about the last record that you and the Rough Cuts put out.
The last record's called Tears and Blades, and it's a different sounding record, and I love it. I really love it. It turned out great because we cut the music live with an 8-piece band in the studio, and it's really organic, and it's got a great full sound, and I had some great players, and just the songs were, I think, good. And yeah, it's online everywhere, Spotify and all that stuff. We've got videos on our website, roughcutsband.com, and we'll definitely be playing songs from all of our albums. We have 3 studio albums, a couple live albums, and our 4th album we're working on. We're going to play songs from all of those.
Awesome. Hey, there we go. There's the thunder. Yeah. Perfect. Well, we're really looking forward to it. And like I said, it's been a while since we've seen you guys. And anything else, new projects? I know you're very involved. You're still doing the Sing It To Me Santa event down in Denver?
Yep. I'm still doing that, which is a blast. I get to play Santa. And this year, you'd have been proud of me. The Mission Ballroom in Denver, amazing new venue, just an awesome place. Packed house. I sang Wagon Wheel
on purpose
with Old Crow Medicine Show.
There you go. That's now that's the good part of it. Cool.
Right, with the actual band, and it was it's great. But yeah, we haven't been to the Black Hills for a while, so we skipped last year. So we're super excited to come back and see a bunch of friends and check out the new Deadwood Tobacco Company, which I hear and see is awesome. And I'm super excited to go to Deadwood specifically because I love Deadwood. I mean, it's of the Black Hills towns, it's probably my favorite. And stoked.
Awesome. I think the last time I saw you at that charity event in December, you guys opened for Michael Franti and Spearhead, and I remember the first 4 minutes of the show, and then stuff kicked in, and it was amazing.
That's pretty much how all the shows go. Because, next thing I'm hanging out with Hickenlooper, and we're having a good old time, and too many people are walking in and out, and it's just it's a great time. Sing It To Me Santa, if anybody wants to look that up. It's a yearly event.
Awesome. And now you don't even have to dye your beard because it's damn near white anyway.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, the thing is like I have to wear less and less makeup each year.
Well, awesome. Ryan, thanks very much. And if you're going to look up Ryan Chrys, it's RyanChrys. Make sure you spell it right so you can find it. And the Rough Cuts, of course. And they'll be here with us for Wild Bill Weekend, a perfect time to come party up here. Ryan, you are going to be the first. I know you don't classify yourself as country, but you're the first country band we've ever had at Deadwood Tobacco Company. It's always been a blues-based, and we're still keeping to that core, but I'm happy to expand our repertoire and bring in some incredible musicians like yourself from around our region and the country. So thanks for jumping on board and agreeing to play with us.
Well, we're all very excited and happy to get in the Black Hills. love the Black Hills, just a gorgeous little vortex on Earth. And so, yeah, looking forward to it and appreciate it very much. Thank you, Randy.
Absolutely. Ryan Chrys, everybody. Ryan Chrys and the Rough Cuts. That will be on Wild Bill Weekend, Friday and Saturday, 8 until midnight. Make sure you come on by, check out all of their music wherever digital music is, and buy some stuff at the show. Help support great original musicians in our region. Thanks, Ryan. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Peace.